And we have a very interesting topic which talks on role of technology and automation for the food safety domain. And to present this, I would like to call on our honorable speaker for that. Let me give you a quick heads up on the topic, the role of technology in augmenting food safety and quality in food manufacturing organization. Very key subject topic. And please help me welcome the honorable speaker for this with a big round of applause, Mr. Hemant Atri, industry consultant from CPG, Rockwell Automation India. A big round of applause to Hemant. Hemant, if you could kindly take the stage.
I hope I'm audible. Thanks, Soumya, for the introduction and invitation for me. And I would like to start with a good afternoon. I think everyone had a good breakfast and hot beverages. And I'm going to diverge a topic a little bit inside the manufacturing plant. So far, since morning I was listening, it was all about starting from the raw material and then getting into the PLMs or level 4 systems. The earlier speaker, Mr. Naresh, talked a bit about the risk-based kind of approach from quality and food safety perspective. So before starting, I would say, and I hope everyone would agree with me, food safety and quality are the two faces of the same coin. So you can't, neglect or ignore one and then work on the other. And I'm trying to touch upon a very crucial aspect of manufacturing operations role into the, delivering the food safety or a best quality product for our customers, and how Rockwell can help or work with you to make sure that you will be enabled to utilize the technology to send the right quality kind of product into the market and right first kind of products. So before taking too much time, I would like to talk about these few topics which I thought are going to be relevant from today's discussion. I'll be briefly touching upon the Rockwell and industry trends, and then subsequently I will be talking about quality approach, both from a paper-based system, which is most of prevalently seen into the manufacturing plants as on today, and then subsequently how the integrated kind of QMS solutions are going to look like. How are we going to help you to make use of the data which is generated at all of these plants with the different stakeholders, different functions which are coming into the manufacturing operations, and then something about how Rockwell is actually playing a role using our different products and solutions capability to mitigate those requirements from quality perspective. A small introduction about Rockwell. We are a 120 years old company, and we are the pioneers of the PLC. We are the patented PLC first time, and now it has become a norm into the industry. These controllers are every controller now working on manufacturing operations is called PLC. It has become so generic. And without, just one fact, for Rockwell Automation, food and beverage is one of the strategic and core industry, not only in India, but globally as well. And we work with both domestic and as well as global players to deploy the OT layers automation solutions. And subsequently, for last 100 plus years, we were working on all of these automation solutions. But of late, we have also, thought the technology trends are changing. And on a strategic front, we have also decided to help our customers to roll out these manufacturing facilities, to make these facilities more smarter. And that is where we started to acquire these digital capabilities. And from 2018 onwards, which you might see, we have done investments in many digital capabilities which are way beyond level 2. That is, apart from PLCs and SCADAs, we are trying to move upwards. And our solutions are inherently capable of getting integrated into the ERPs or CRM tools. Mr. Bipin talked about PLM solutions. Yes, we can also integrate these solutions with the automation layer. So what we are trying to do here is the data which is residing at a business layer, we are giving access to the automation operations layer. So that we have observed that the gap or the synergy, if there is a synergy between operations and business layer, there would be a lot of value that can be unlocked and which actually you can pass on to your customers as well. So I think everyone in the room would agree with me. The paradigm from a business perspective is shifting. If you look at the F&B as an industry, regulatory environments are becoming stringent and stringent. And what is happening in the whole process, when we add labor shortages, material shortages, and the supply chain disruptions which we have experienced in the COVID era and as well as which is going to be continuing from a perspective of there could be something like Ukraine war or something and something which can keep on happening. And so how are we as an industry ready to address these things? And along with that, there could be the consumer behavior changes, which are also matters to the F&B industry. So putting all together, though we look at a broader economic level, but still the from operations perspective challenges remains. There are the issues of visibility, there are issues of control and production layer. And let us see, to meet these quality and compliance standards, everyone need to invest time and money all together. And apart from that, everyone is under the pressure from cost perspective. So how are we going to utilize the yield or yield improvement and then subsequently cost reduction to deliver the right product and be competitive in the global scenario? So while we talked about these things, from Rockwell's perspective, we have seen that almost all of the manufacturing facilities, I will not say 100%, but most of the facilities are following the paper-based kind of disintegrated quality approach, wherein the paper trail follows the processes. What does that mean? All this customer, industry compliance, quality documentation, everything actually moves around, in and around, using manual systems, be it fax or be it email kind of conversation. Or many places we have seen that papers or production orders and batch orders are being printed and they are taken on to the shop floor, and then subsequently as the batch or recipe progresses, the paper moves, and operators actually are expected to enter as basic as the process parameters on those logbooks and those batch records. And eventually, the quality data also comes into as a part of the complete batch record or BMRs. What we are trying to do, we are trying to avoid this need of having these manual processes onto the shop floor, and these are the prevalent reasons which I think you would agree with me. The manual systems or data recapturing would also come with their own challenges of data integrity and also the real-time information exchange, whether it is going to be possible. And finding an answer, let us say there is a complaint which is coming from a particular product from market. Are we that easily able to pin down the root cause of the problem? How many touch points that we have to exchange to come to arrive at a real root cause of the situation? We have seen 10 people have to access 10 to 12 kind of paper-based records, and couple of days will be spent by team to really arrive at pinpointing a particular issue that could have triggered the complaint which has been coming from the market. So to avoid that scenario, in technical terms, it's called MOOC recall time. So companies are looking for couple of hours kind of MOOC recall instead of spending couple of days and exchanging so much of data. And this prevalently happens because these systems are getting recorded, and then maybe the typically F&B industry having a disintegrated kind of processes, because we run batches up to certain extent. For that, we will have the visibility of the batch IDs. But what would happen when it gets into a storage area or intermittent storage, and after that, again, it is taking for packaging, and the batch sizes get changed. The reactor size could be X, but the packaging silo size could be bigger one, and that's why we lose the complete integrity. And then people would end up, doing the time management, looking at the timestamps of the particular data entries which are being done, and they would try to indirectly associate it, those particular materials with the raw material. That is, they are trying to establish the genealogy on paper with manual efforts. But what we are trying to propose, or we have seen, that having the digital kind of environment, which actually would be holistically integrating all of this information, starting from raw material to the process area and subsequently the packaging, and while at the same time the quality information, which is there could be LIMS, there could be QMS systems, which are again operating into silos, and integrating these solutions as inherent into same platform, that would actually help us to make sure that we will be able to drive the complete genealogy and track and trace of the particular product on the shop floor right now. But in the earlier panel discussion, we talked about spurious kind of or gray market duplicate products people are trying to bring for bigger brands. So yes, that still also is possible with this serialization kind of solutions, wherein we would be able to do the complete tracking of each and individual item to its original batch ID, and subsequently backward genealogy of understanding were the vendors of those particular raw materials, which batch IDs were consumed, and what was the quality acceptance parameter or testing that we have done, and what were the inline kind of quality testing and reports were there. So that whole spectrum definitely can be tracked digitally, and going digital would actually bring a lot of synergy when we talk about the quality culture. Someone said that quality cannot be delivered if there is no culture, and obviously culture has to be driven from top. And we believe that having this holistic kind of approach with management support, we will definitely enable our customers to make sure that you are able to send right kind of right quality product inside the market. And obviously, if the food is not safe for consume, it can actually end up into either catastrophes, people losing lives, or people facing diseases or issues, or worst case could be you have to have that particular product recall, and which can be a further a big damaging scenario from both business perspective of the brand equity and the cost which could be associated when we say a particular product recall or a batch recall. You can imagine what kind of humongous effort it would be if we do not have all of this information readily available on the digital front with us. And we have seen there are a couple of examples, I can't really take the name, but many a times the recalls also could happen because of some mistakes onto the packaging material, rather than there is anything related to quality of the particular product which has been sent to the market. But it actually ends up in spending huge money in terms of litigations and things like that. So we can enable our customers from that perspective to avoid and to make sure that every step the information, that be it the quality plan, be it the checklist, those are driven appropriately to the right stakeholders. And whenever there are going to be some deviations or revisions into those particular checkpoints and SOPs, how the system would be digitally be enabled to make sure that right kind of versions are being deployed. So when we go into the details of it, the solution would startingly come with a compliance manager, where it would actually help us to do a digital articulation of the system. Then subsequently, it will drive a detailed kind of compliance requirements and those workflow which are required from a regulation perspective. Let us, if we link that into HCCCP or FMEA kind of guidelines, the system would actually be readily deployable and configurable from that perspective. And as a next step, we can get into the HCCP requirement from a digital process control, and then defining what kind of process standards that we need to follow, and subsequently developing those content to be ready from providing that information, and to be ready with the information from audit perspective. So system would also be enabled from that point of view. And subsequently, we will drive down into a next step or next level of developing those control plans and execution of control plans from the operations perspective. The step-by-step kind of guidance that would be provided as a standard workflows, which can be built or designed based on the current practices or current SOPs which are followed. And let us see when there are some problem or complaints which are coming up and which actually calls for some modifications or version control. Today in the manual or paper-based kind of condition, someone would take pain to revise those control plans, to revise those SOPs. But from a control perspective, how are you going to ensure that right SOPs are being enforced at the right point of time? But system would actually be able to take care of that, integrating that market complaint and its root cause analysis and tying that back holistically into the HCCP or the quality standard plan itself. So that whatever action we do one time, it will be fed back and our procedures or SOPs would be modified accordingly. So in turn, what would you be able to deliver? In turn, it will be a completely holistic QMS kind of scenario, which would actually be helping us to have a single version of truth. I think earlier speaker also talked about, and how important it could be, that same kind of information should be accessed by everyone, so that action taking and then getting those alerts on those actions becomes easier. Now the question is from where the data is going to come. We have got multiple kind of sources whenever it comes to any manufacturing plant. That could be unstructured data in terms of SOPs or documents. It could be relational data which is coming from process control systems, from history and the time series kind of data coming from CCPs, with the critical control points which are being recorded as a part of the particular process. And also event-based data would also be there. I have started a batch at what time, along with the timestamp. So all of these information which are actually coming from the smart asset which already is invested. So are we really in a position to make use of that, or do we want to only keep it into silos? And we will just do the digging whenever there is a problem or whenever there is a need to look at that data. And today it is really becoming very easy, because we are moving from which is a hierarchical kind of approach, they call it, from ISA 95 data management perspective. Because of IoT and these smart manufacturing platforms, we are able to cut across all these data sources, to cut across all these different systems, which are kind of mandatory to run any standard manufacturing facility. And with the help of this technology and computing development, today we are also able to deploy many solutions which were earlier sought to be difficult or sought to be very, very costly when it comes to deploying a simple solution like CMMS. Earlier it was a big thing, but now with the help of IoT, having the machine running hours and having the asset data, linking it to with the SAP or ERP, we are very easily be able to create those maintenance schedules on the platform and then track their progresses. This is just an example. There could be limbs, there could be other data sources which are going to be working into silos. That data can be harnessed and accessed, and then subsequently where we would be we can end up preparing a role-based kind of reports. And how are we going to do that? Rockwell is already having our hardware platform, which we call it Logix, which is a typically PLC IO-based solution up to the SCADA layer, which call it level 2. And beyond that, which was, which is the digital capability that I talked earlier, we are able to harness these products to generate these role-based operational level, executive level kind of reports. and obviously the KPI dashboards, SPC, SQC charts and alerts, those also would be able to generated in real time. And what will happen is we will be able to enable all of our manufacturing facility from a cost reduction perspective, and from getting into the predictive kind of analytics era from a operations point of view. And there is one case study which I have picked up, and this is a live case in India, wherein we are helping one of our customer to digitize or take away all of this paper which I talked earlier, starting from raw material gate entry, GRN creation, raw material storage, subsequently recipe authoring, approval, execution, production orders execution, maintenance activity, operator and visitor management systems. Apart from that, all these smart asset management, that is their maintenance, their inventory, their spare inventories. So all of these systems are digitized. I'm talking about a plant in India. For them, we have delivered this complete end-to-end kind of digital solution, wherein they would also be able to track what is happening at a process level and subsequently relate back that from a quality perspective, creating those control plans and then looking at the HCCP kind of scenario. So that is all from me for today. If there are any questions, I would be happy to answer. Otherwise, we can connect. If there are any interesting topic, we can connect and we can deliver further or deliberate on that.
Thank you, Hemant.
Yeah.
Please take the center stage. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Mr. Hemant Atri from Rockwell Automation India on that wonderful topic of role of technology in augmenting food safety and quality in food manufacturing organization. Now, very quickly, I would also like to tell you, I think Hemant and the entire team of Rockwell has been there since yesterday, and they're there in the exhibit area with a beautiful booth outside. So please do take out time from your busy schedule and do network in Rockwell's booth to learn more about their offerings and solutions for your respective organizations. And Hemant and the team would be more than happy to answer those questions and queries. Yeah, so can we take a question, because we are a little tight on time, Hemant. So maybe we can entertain one question, and after that, after the session, Hemant is there throughout the day for your questions. All right then. I would now like to call on stage Ms. Ranjit Kaur from Marks Wrigley to kindly do the honors of felicitating our honorable speaker. Ranjit ji, thank you so much. Please take the stage. Yes. A big round of applause once again, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Hemant Atri, Industry Consultant CPG from Rockwell Automation India, just delivered a fantastic presentation. Thank you so much, Hemant, for that wonderful session.